Hi guys, and welcome back to the Gabe and Bruce Show.
Hang 'em from the yard.
Anyways guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're reacting to... We're going to be reacting to 10 really creepy true stories. This video is like 7 years old, but it's by MR.NIGHTMARE. As always, I did a MR.NIGHTMARE reaction video, but I do not like copyright strikes. So far, so good. Like I said, I crap up very much. You know. Other than that, this is 10 really creepy true stories, I think is what I just said. But this thing's 7 years old. I know I'm reacting to it oldly, but I haven't reacted to it on this channel or any of my other channels before. And being the fact I got this set up now, it's easy to do. Anyways, guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the notification bell to always be notified of any new uploads uploaded to this channel. Also, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers on here. You know, we're already at 84. Anyways, right now we want to get to 10 likes or 50 likes on this video. So yeah, either ways. And yeah. Let's go. It's go time. Still working on catchphrases, but so far it's let's go. I'm going with let's go. You know what? Actually, I'll add a little accents. I'm going with let's go. That's much better. Let's go, that is.
I moved to my dad's when I was 10 and I didn't know anyone in the area except for the family my dad was friends with, a single mom with 3 kids. Luckily there was a girl a couple of years older than me. She was 12 at the time I met her, and we got to know each other a little over a couple of years. We weren't close, but we ended up having the same friends. One night my friend Rob was hanging out with her and her younger brother. They happened to be in the house alone because my friend's mom was at work. Her mother has been helping this one lady through her work and got to know her fairly well. She found out her sister was in a mental institution and was let out recently.
And that's where we cut our fucking ties with, motherfucker. We cut them fucking ties now. Fuck no. We don't fuck with this shit. If you have a family member that does fucking mental institution shit, they work there, and they talk to people like this, and they just get out, we cut that shit the fuck off with them. We cut off any relations to them. Even if it's your own fucking mother. You cut that shit off. Because that's the way to get yourself mugged, murdered, or fucked. There are a lot of things mentally insane people can fucking do to you because they ain't in the right fucking mind. Nothing against them, not saying all of them will do this, but people that do this shit, that just get out somehow recently, aren't opposed, they shouldn't be let out at all if they got themselves there in the first place, and they just boom, recently let out quickly. That ain't awesome. You cut your shit off with them. And this photo right here kind of is explanatory.
The night Rob is hanging out with my friend, they get a knock on the door. My friend thought it was just their mom, since she knocks a certain way when coming in, and he answered it without thinking. Rob wasn't supposed to be there and he took off through the window to his house down the road. He never thought twice about it. It wasn't her mom. It was the sister of the lady her mom was helping, and she figured out through talking to her sister where her family lived and her mom's working schedule.
Oh, you're just fucked. You are so fuckish. Number one, you just opened the fucking door without thinking. Number two, the motherfucker, it's the institutional woman, the woman that was let out recently, or she fucking got out somehow, probably escaped, and knew where you fucking lived, because she did a lot of fucking planning to choose you specifically. You're just fucked. Cut your losses, you fucked up. You didn't take the cut the shit off fucking roll, motherfucker. Ooh, this is why we don't fuck with these kind of people.
She came in. This is where I don't know the details, and I'm glad I don't. My friend's younger brother got away to the neighbor's house to call the police. The lady brutally murdered my friend a week from Christmas, decapitated her, and left her body naked in a bathtub. She even hid her head. They had to look through the presents, and I don't know where they found it, but they did. I wasn't allowed to go to her funeral.
What the hell? Now, this is some
It happened to my wife's grandmother about 15 years ago while we were still dating. Her husband had just passed away about a year previously, but she'd been going down to the library and volunteering. It was exercise and socialization. This was in the winter, so her walk back was while it was getting dark. The library closed at 5 and there was some extra stuff to do before everyone actually left. And on this particular night, she turned down a ride from another volunteer because...
Motherfucker, why? Bitch, why? I wouldn't turn the fucking ride down. If I'm offered a ride, I'm fucking taking it. Cause fuck no. Who the fuck's gonna walk in this shit? What the fuck? This is some bullshit.
She needed to stay in shape.
She needed to stay in shape. And that's some bullshit. Motherfucker, I don't fucking work out. I'm so in shape. I don't give a fuck. I don't even give a shit when people look at me like, I don't give a damn what you think of me. My opinion is none of your fucking concern.
The house is about a mile away through some lightly wooded area in South Texas, and as she's about halfway home, she notices someone behind her. He's walking the same direction and gaining on her, which in itself isn't all that particular. She's old and thus not particularly fast, but in this case he seems vaguely sinister. They keep walking. Pretty soon he's right behind her. Then he falls into pace, just staying behind her. Now she knows something's up. But she's almost home. She can see the top of her driveway coming up, and she leaves her lights on so it'll look like someone's home when she's walking in.
Motherfucker needs to pull out the fucking strap. Motherfucking gun. Someone needs to pull it. This motherfucker needs to pull out a fucking knife. Something. Don't fucking continue walking. I would've pulled out my fucking gun and shoot the son of a bitch. You shoot the motherfucker. Shoot him! Bitch, motherfucker better have a gun. Better have some sort of fucking weapon. I don't give a shit if it's a taser. Tase the son of a bitch then. Do something other than keep fucking walking. I don't have shit.
She just needs to make it another 150 yards.
No, what she needs to do is fucking shoot the son of a bitch or tase the fucker in the ass. You know what? Tase him in the balls. Tase him right in his balls. He'll fucking learn. Don't fuck with me. Or fuck with you. Or fuck with anybody. It's one thing to tase a man, but when you tase a person in the balls, they learn. They will fucking learn. Because their balls will either explode. That's kind of fucked up, just saying that, but moving on, their balls might either explode, or it's gonna fucking hurt for a fucking week. And it's gonna hurt while they're having a piss. But hey, you started shit, you get tased in the nuts. Oh, they're like, this person has a case, they're probably gonna just tase me short. No, I'm going for the cock. Fuck. Plain and simple. Gets the job fucking done. Cause fuck you. Motherfucker. Fuck basic. Fuck the... Go extreme on the son of a bitch.
Yards.
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
I don't give a fuck.
Then 100. All that time, she said he was so close that she could feel his breath on her neck. Around maybe 50 yards, it happens. A strong hand on her shoulder. Okay, bitch. Don't turn around and hand over your purse or I'll cut you. She stops for a second, then takes one big step forward, turns, and shoots the guy in the neck with the .38.
Invite this bitch to everything. Invite her to every fucking cookout so she can tell his story. What type of gun was it this son of a bitch has? Because this man deserves every fucking bullet in the ass.
She keeps in her purse.
What was it?
Turns and shoots the guy in the neck with the .38 she keeps in her purse.
Yes.
The guy spent the next 5 years in a prison hospital before he died of complications.
Well, he fucking had it coming. Fuck with the wrong bitch today. Dumbass.
My wife's grandmother passed last year, But up to the end, she lamented that she pulled the trigger too soon.
Pulled it too soon, motherfucker. You pulled it way too fucking late. I would've shot the fucking motherfucker two blocks back. Right in his ball sack, too. Dead in the fucking face. Shot him in the balls, shot him in the fucking mouth. Make sure he's fucking dead. Fucking, you know, unload the gun, go like, motherfucker. Right into his fucking everything. Fucking blow that man out of the fucking existence. Fuck, he gets mostly bullshit every night.
When I was young, I'd say 8 to 11-ish, my sister, whom is 7 years older, would babysit when my parents were out. At the time, she smoked a lot, and my parents made her smoke outside, of course. So I'd follow her outside.
Assuming this was before vaping, just fucking vape. Cigarettes kill you. I think that is obvious.
Play around, annoy her and such. One day my sister notices a car at the end of the driveway, just sitting in the road. It's a white SUV with a bike rack on top. It has the most tinted windows I've ever seen. You could not see inside from the side. It sat there until she went inside, then would drive to the end of the road and sit at the church parking lot and wait. Wait until she'd come out again for another smoke. And it would repeat this. Odd, but my sister is a brave lady and just kind of ignored it. That is, until the next day while my parents were out again, and it showed up again.
Bitch, please, motherfucker, I wouldn't know it. I'll walk up to the goddamn van, bring my fucking whatever gun or weapon I have. If I have a knife, I'm gonna make sure that fucking window's open. And if it's not, I'm fucking stabbing this motherfucking knife holding this out right to that motherfucking window. You wanna start shit? I'll fucking end it, motherfucker. With my foot in your ass. I'll fucking tape the godforsaken knife to it, you son of a bitch. Go have a knife so far up your ass, you're gonna be shitting metal for a week. Bitch.
It would sit at the end of the driveway and just watch. I don't know what the driver was doing, but he was watching my sister. I know, because if I didn't go out, I'd watch from the front window and it would just sit there and watch my sister. She told my father, who was a sheriff deputy at the time, and he called the cops and made a complaint. They showed up, looked around, but the SUV was nowhere to be seen. Months went by and nothing. Then one day, a good 9 months after this had all started and around 4 months since the last sighting, it was back. It became a regular occurrence. Another day, my sister was outside doing her nasty habit, and sure enough, here it comes. This time we were all alone as usual, and she decides she has had enough. She tells me to stay in the carport and she's gonna go confront them. She starts walking toward the SUV, and halfway down the driveway, she would later remark to us, "I felt utter terror, like I knew if I went any further, I was dead. I was paralyzed by pure fear." She turned around and went inside. Finally, the family car was in the shop for some kind of issue, so we were all stuck home for the night. While my parents are home, my sister goes outside to smoke. I go outside with her, and eventually the SUV shows up. She tells me to run inside and tell my father, and I do. My dad promptly gets his gun and starts briskly walking down the driveway with it in hand, in the direction of the SUV.
This motherfucker's got the right idea. This motherfucking Vance became in here too fucking much. I know what I'm gonna do. Grab my fucking shotgun. Don't worry, honey. I got this. This motherfucker's about to become a dick souffle. Because his dick's getting blown the fuck off. To the end of time. Adios, fucko. Plain and simple. Just plain and fucking simple. We'll see what happens.
SUV, but not leveled towards it. The SUV floored it down the road and peeled out onto the nearby large highway.
Motherfucker, as soon as coming out, I've been like, oh, you wanna fucking floor me? Blah, 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 blah. To shoot fucking multiple bullets into the fucking car. They need to fucking, these fuckers need to learn. You fuck with me, you fuck with my gun. Motherfucker.
Highway. My dad, being a cop, noted the year and model and distinguishing features. The scariest thing, the license plate had been covered in duct tape. We never saw it again.
No shit. Fucker, this This music is so fucking creepy, my fucking ass is going up to here.
I was just 4 or 5 years old and my parents had just separated. My mom was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. I had my own room, but I preferred to sleep in her bed whenever I was staying with her. Our 2 bedrooms were at the end of the hallway, directly across from each other. Our apartment was on the 1st floor, and I remember that it was in the middle of the summer, and my mom had a window open in her room, which was directly behind the bed above the headboard. Anyways, I woke up in the middle of the night and remember sitting up and seeing that our cat was sitting in the doorframe of my mom's room. I should note her door was open and you could partially see into my bedroom. This was strange because our cat was typically always in bed with us. As I was watching him, he walked into my bedroom and meowed. I turned to face my mom and woke her up. In the 3 or 4 seconds it took me to wake her up and ask me what was wrong, we both looked back up at the doorframe, and there was a man standing by my open door, making his way out of the bedroom. I still don't know how she managed to do it so quickly, but my mother proceeded to pick me up and literally throw me out of the screen window.
Picks this son of a bitches up and throws him out the motherfucking window. She's like, oh shit. Come on, Timmy. Bah! Fuck this. Come on, kitty. Fuck off. As a matter of fact, though, come back here, kitty. Attack the son of a bitch. Bah! Everybody for himself. Bah! And just goes fucking barrel rolling. Just goes fucking head first for the fucking screen. You're like, fuck this shit. Kitty, take care of the monster. It's time to go in to get the cops. That's the right thing to do. Holy shit.
She quickly followed and we were able to start screaming for help and someone called 911. The police came but didn't see any signs of forced entry, only that our front door was unlocked, which led them to believe that the man must have exited that way. The strange thing was that my mom swore up and down that she had locked the door that night with the deadbolt and chain lock. About a week later, she was cleaning the kitchen and opened up our water heater closet and found a notebook with names and drawings, as well as a pair of gloves and some gum wrappers. The police were called again, but all they could do was speculate that the man had been in our house and hid until we were asleep. One day while doing my laundry, one of the lights blew out in my basement. My basement is set up so that the laundry room is split up from the other side of the basement with a wall and a door. In order to get upstairs, you have to exit the laundry room and go through the other part of the basement. So the light blew in the other part, not the laundry room. As it was the only light on that side, it was pretty dark. I finished the laundry I had to do while dreading the walk through the dark basement. I exit the laundry room, get halfway through the basement, and I hear a loud cackle. Imagine a sound people make when they imitate a witch. Take that and imagine the witch had been smoking for 50 years, making her voice deeper and hoarser.
Oh, fuck no. Okay, shit. That just scared the fuck out of me. What the I was fucking paying attention up here, and then when I heard that, I was like, oh shit. I was like, that scared me. Holy shit. Fucking witch Hazel scared my ass. Holy shit. Oh. Oh. Son of a bitch.
That's what I heard, clear as day, right behind me. I didn't hesitate to bolt for the stairs. I waited until my father got home and then changed the bulb. I have yet to hear that cackle since, and I have not told a single person in the house about it.
Motherfucker, does this music have to be so fucking sinister? It's scaring the shit out of me.
This happened to a friend of mine. She told me about it about a year or so ago. We'll call her Minji. Minji is in her late 20s and works as an English tutor in South Korea. One evening, a few years ago, she was tutoring a high school boy. They were up studying pretty late and the buses stopped running. Being a long way from his house, the boy asked if he could crash on her floor overnight and get the first bus in the morning. Minji was very reluctant because inviting a teenage male student to stay the night didn't sound like a great idea, but he was begging her and eventually she relented. They went back into her one-room apartment and she got...
As I was saying, new FanDuel customers get up to $3,000 back if they don't win their...
got into the bed while he laid a blanket out on the floor, and they both fell asleep. A few hours later, at maybe 2 a.m., the boy wakes Minji up.
Somebody wakes me up at 2 a.m. I'm gonna be like, BAH! Oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. Don't sneak up on me, dumbass. Sorry. Shouldn't sneak up on people before you get like, BAH, motherfucker. I'll go get I'll teach you an ice pack towel.
I'm really hungry, he says. Let's go get some food. Minji opens her eyes and looks up at him in disbelief. Food? Now? It's 2 a.m. Go back to bed. But the student insists. No, I'm so hungry. Let's eat something now. She tells him that there's some ramen in the kitchen and he could fix himself some. This doesn't satisfy him. He doesn't want ramen. There's a 24-hour place just down the road. Let's go there. Eventually, after several minutes of persuasion, the boy gets Minji to come with him to the restaurant. They leave the apartment and head out. As soon as they're on the street, the boy turns to Minji and says, I'm not hungry. I woke up in the middle of the night and looked under your bed. There's a man sleeping there. They call the police and discover that a homeless man had been living in Minji's apartment, sleeping under the bed for 2 months.
2 fucking months? Where the fuck has he been shitting and pissing? For 2 fucking months? Was he shitting and pissing in a cup? The fuck? The fuck?
The boy only saw him because he was lying on the floor, so he had a clear view under the bed. I was driving a shortcut from 29 Palms, California to Albuquerque, New Mexico. 29 Palms is located in the desolate high desert east of LA. The shortcut was all 2-lane road through total nothingness, except for a passing through Amboy. Amboy is a nearly abandoned town nearly as far below sea level as Death Valley. So I was driving by myself in the afternoon and proceeded to drive up into the mountain range between Amboy and I-40. Once I reached the top, I'm driving north through a canyon with high grass on both sides of the road. Up ahead I see some stuff in the middle of the road. As I approach, I slow down to see a red Pontiac Fiero stopped sideways across both lanes. A suitcase open with clothes scattered everywhere and 2 bodies laying face down in the road, a man and a woman. I stop 100 feet or so away, and the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. Being a Marine, I reach under the seat and pull out a 9mm pistol and...
Thank God this motherfucker has the strap. That's the fucking right thing to do.
chamber around. Something seemed very wrong. It looked too perfect, as if it were staged. An ambush? Something was just wrong. As I scanned the road, I saw a line I could drive. Past the guy in the road on his left, swerve to the right of the woman, behind the Fiero, and I'd be on the other side. I dropped it into first gear, punched it down, and drove the line I planned. I passed the back of the Fiero without hitting it, or either of the bodies in the road. I continued forward a couple of 100 feet and slowed down, so I could breathe and let my heart slow down. As I looked up into the rear view mirror, I saw that the two bodies had gotten up to their knees, and 20 or so people emerged from the tall grass on either side of the road by the car and bodies.
Better pop it in fucking four-wheel drive and get your motherfucking ass the fuck out of Dodge. Fucking better pop like it and get the fuck out. Fucking floor that shit.
At that moment, my right foot smashed the gas pedal to the floor, and did not let up until I had to slow down for the I-40 East on-ramp. I will never know what would have happened to me had I gotten out of the car to check on the bodies, or stopped my car closer to them.
This fucking music gets shits out of me!
Some friends and I were doing some night fishing on the James River. We were sitting along the shoreline with a nice fire going, accompanied by the usual idle talk and a few beers, when suddenly, everyone just stopped talking. like a switch was flipped off. We were all staring across the river and felt as if something or someone was staring back. It was a very uneasy feeling, to which some of the group tried to shake off with typical macho humor, when a blood-curdling sound erupted from the other shore that froze everyone in their tracks.
Motherfucker!
The sound was unlike any other.
Son of a bitch! Scares the shit out of me.
That I had ever heard, and it made every hair on my body vibrate and tingle. The only way I could describe it is it sounded like a wild person with no language skills being gutted alive. No words, just this high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. Nobody moved or said a word. We all just sat there fixed in our stare, when just as suddenly, a second scream was let loose with even more force than the first. By this time, several of us were sprinting to our trucks that were parked a few yards away, retrieving various firearms. When we got back, we all sat there quietly, with our eyes fixed staring toward the opposite shore, watching the light from our fire reflecting off the rocks. We sat there waiting for another scream, or something to move on the other side of the river. Finally, a third scream came just as suddenly, but this time, it was on our side of the river, coming from the bushes about a yard away. We all hightailed out of there, leaving most of our stuff behind. When we got to our trucks, we heard the scream one more time, just beyond the tree line. We all floored it the hell away from there, and never found out what was making the sounds.
Motherfucker, why the fuck would you? Why the fuck would you want to find out? That fucking thing sounds like fucking inhuman. You fucking say, fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't fucking want to see what it is. I don't even have the fucking balls to fucking have the gall to go check what the fuck that is. My fucking gut and myself is telling me we need to get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit about the camp equipment. Get your fucking phones, get your fucking whatever shit that's electronically of value, and fuck the other shit, cause that shit you can buy again some other time when you get the money. But other than that, get the fuck out. Bring your phone, your valuables, your fucking bullshit. Just leave the fuck everything else. Leave the goddamn cure, leave the goddamn tent. Leave fucking everything else that means zero shits to you. Get your phone, get shit, and let's get the fuck out. Holy fuck off. Just fuck off. Fuck that shit.
It was a Friday night, and my friend was picking me up in his car from my house. I was in a hurry since we were running late for the hockey game in the city. The whole car ride there.
Don't waste your time with ads like this. Just head to adskiller.com. Click.
We were having such a good time that I hadn't even noticed that I didn't have my phone. I searched the car seat, the floor, but it wasn't in the car. I was sure that I had just forgotten it. During the hockey game, I couldn't stop worrying that maybe I had dropped my phone somewhere, so I borrowed my friend's phone and ran to the bathroom. I dialed my number and hoped someone at my house would pick up. It took 3 rings before somebody picked up, but they remained silent on the other end. I yelled into the phone that I was just checking if I had left my phone at home. They didn't answer. I assumed it was my little brother just messing with me, so I hung up. I got home late that night to see that my parents weren't home. I got inside my house and called them to see where they were. They told me that they had gone out to eat and see a concert at the park with my little brother. They said they left soon after I had for the game, and they should be home in around half an hour. So I hung up and proceeded to look for my cell phone. But then I realized, how could somebody in my family have picked up my phone if they hadn't been home? I felt a pain in my stomach as fear swept over. It was at that moment that I heard the back door to my house open and close. I immediately jolted out the front door to the neighbors and called the police. Apparently, the back door was left open and somebody had simply walked into our house. Nothing was stolen, but the scariest thing is the thought that we could have fallen asleep with a stranger in the house. A while back, there was a family that moved in next door to my family. They had a son who was just twisted. He was obsessive over slasher movies and always wanted me to talk about shit that happened during my time serving in Vietnam that no normal person would want to hear. He also loved tormenting stray animals. This guy was a whack job. He was 19 at the time and my daughter was 7, but he always wanted to talk to her. He'd strike up conversation with her when she walked home from school. He would talk over the fence at her when she was playing in the back. But what really set me off was when he called our house looking to speak to her. That was it. I went over and flipped shit at him and his parents.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Let's continue with what we have left. Hold on.
Told him to stay the hell away from her and I'd better not ever see him again. That's when things got weird. My daughter was always a little imaginative and paranoid. She would think there were monsters under her bed and whatnot, so when she told me there was something living in her closet and she was too scared to get up and tell us at night, but it wasn't there in the daytime, we blew it off as no big deal. A few weeks went by and one night my wife and daughter were staying at my mother's for a girls' night. So I turned the key on the HBO box and watched me some movies, eventually falling asleep downstairs. At around 2 a.m., I get a call from my neighbor with a creepy son telling me something along the lines of, "We saw that you were up, so we called. Our son is missing. I went by his room to use the bathroom and his door was open, which isn't usual. and there was no sign of him. We need help looking for him. The phone call woke me up though. I wasn't up, so I asked why they thought I was. Oh, we saw you walking around upstairs and the light is on. My blood ran cold as ice. I'd been passed out on the couch and I know no one turned any lights on. I hung up on them, ran outside to my truck to grab my shotgun, but noticed the sheriff pulling up to my neighbor's house by this point. I booked it over and told him there was someone in my house, and now I could see the lights in my daughter's room were on, and there was a silhouette pacing back and forth. When the deputies went in, they found the neighbor boy there waiting in my daughter's room with a nice little setup in her closet. He said he liked to watch her sleep in the moonlight.
That's fucked. That is fucked. Anyways, guys, that was 10 10 creepy. Let's see, what is it? 10 really creepy true stories by Mr. Nightmare. This video was 7 years old. Link in the description down below to the original video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the notification bell to always be notified of any upload to this channel. Anyways, like, subscribe, and whistles.